Monk mode is not isolation, it is precision. You don't need to run away from the world to change your life. You need to withdraw from the noise long enough to see it clearly. Because here's the truth that most people can't handle: you are not overwhelmed because life is hard. You are overwhelmed because your attention has been hijacked. You've been taught that you can do it all, stay balanced, and find harmony. But that's a lie that's been sold to you by people who benefit from your distractions. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Focus is energy, attention is vibration, and the frequency you live in determines the life you experience. So when I talk about monk mode, I'm not talking about shaving your head and vanishing into the mountains. We're talking about creating a short strategic period of extreme precision where you deliberately cut out everything that pulls you way off course. It's not isolation, it's precision. A study done by Microsoft in 2023 found that the average attention span has dropped from 12 seconds in 2000 to 8 seconds today. That's lower than a goldfish. Your phone, your feeds, your notifications, they're all micro hits of dopamine designed to train your brain to crave novelty over depth. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, doesn't stop in childhood. Whatever you consistently repeat over a period of time becomes your default wiring. Neurons that fire together wire together. That means the more you scroll, the more your brain learns to prefer scrolling. The more you multitask, the more you weaken your ability to go deep. You're training yourself to be scattered. Most people aren't burnt out from overwork, they're burnt out from context switching. That's the constant start and stop between fragments of half finished attention loops. And what's tragic is this is becoming the new normal. Being unfocused is the new default. Being busy has replaced being effective. People brag about their anxiety like it's some type of badge of honor. This is why monk mode is important, because it is your antidote to the chaos. It's not running away from life, it's reclaiming control over the system that is running you. When you're focused, when you're really locked in, when you're in flow, that's not just a mindset, that's chemistry. According to Dr. Andrew Huberman, a professor of neurobiology at Stanford, focus is a neurological cocktail of dopamine, norepinephrine, and acetylcholine. Dopamine gives drive and motivation. Norepinephrine heightens alertness, and acetylcholine locks attention on a target. This trio is the chemical signature of deep work. We've all felt this before. When we're doing deep work on something that we truly care about, time dissolves, the world fades, and it's just you and the task. You can work on something for 10 or 12 hours and not even feel it. The problem is you can't enter that state if your nervous system is fried from endless stimulation. You can't build depth in chaos. That's why precision beats balance. Monk mode is about creating conditions where that chemistry can thrive, where you give your nervous system permission to calm down enough to focus. So when you cut distractions, when you stop multitasking, when you go silent for a while, you're not being antisocial. You're recalibrating your biology. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Time isn't your problem. Leakage is. Energy scattered in every direction will guarantee your mediocrity. Energy concentrated on one aim will guarantee progress. The term monk mode might sound modern, but it's an ancient principle. Buddha withdrew under the Bodhi tree, not to escape the world, but to understand it. Jesus went into the desert for 40 days, not to abandon humanity, but to prepare to serve it. Many philosophers, scientists, and inventors all took periods of deep solitude to birth new insight. What these stories show is that isolation was never the goal. Transformation was. True monks didn't run away. They stepped back from the world to see the patterns of the world. They created stillness to hear the signal beneath the noise. The modern monk mode takes that same principle and brings it into a digital, overstimulated world. It says withdraw, focus, and build. Then return stronger, clearer, and more useful to humanity and the world. Let's look at what actually happens when you go into monk mode. Neuroplastic reset. When you remove dopamine spikes from constant stimulation, your baseline sensitivity returns. You start to enjoy simple focus again. Dr. Ann Lemke, a psychiatrist at Stanford, notes that after 10 to 14 days without digital overstimulation, dopamine receptors recalibrate. Pleasure from normal life, things like a walk, a book, a workout, increase dramatically. That's why the first 2 weeks of monk mode will feel the hardest. You are literally detoxing from artificial hits. The default mode network of the brain is active when your mind starts to wander. You run into rumination, self talk, and ego loops. Meditation and focused work quiets this network. A Yale study in 2011 showed experienced meditators have a quieter default mode network and less anxiety and depression. The translation is the more you focus, the less you suffer. Flow state concentration. When your prefrontal cortex temporarily deactivates in flow, your time perception changes. This is a process called transient hypofrontality. You merge with the task. You become effortless. Dr. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi called flow the secret to happiness because it merges challenge and skill in perfect proportion. You don't get there by accident. You engineer it through deliberate constraint. This is where most people get it wrong. They think monk mode means cutting everybody off, moving to a cabin, and going no contact with reality. That's extremism for the sake of ego. We want extremism for the sake of clarity. So here's how you're going to do it with precision. Step number one, time box the container. You're going to set a clear duration, whether it's 30, 60, or 90 days. You're not leaving society. You're rebooting your operating system. Without a deadline, you'll drift into guilt or burnout. Write it down. I will run monk mode from X date to X date. Step number two, define your North Star. What is the single goal you want this window of time to transform? Is it health? Is it a project? Is it in a relationship? Is it emotional peace? Pick one, and everything else is secondary. As Gary Keller wrote in The One Thing, what's the one thing you can do such that by doing it, everything else will become easier or unnecessary? Step number three is defense. You're going to eliminate your energy leaks. This is your shield. You're going to delete, mute, or delegate anything that pulls your attention away from your North Star. Here is a simple checklist that you can use. No social media before noon. Put your phone in another room during deep work. An automatic no to all non-essential invites. You're going to replace gossip with solitude. You're going to get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. And you're going to remember that saying no is not antisocial. It is self-respect. Step number four is offense. You're going to build the 4 focus habits. 1 project, 1 book, 1 meditation, and 1 workout. 1 project. This is your life's work. Something that moves your world forward. Work on it every day for at least 1 hour of deep, deep work. That's 4 90-minute blocks a week, enough to change your life in just 3 months. 1 book. Read 1 book slowly. The purpose here is not volume, it is absorption. Reading rewires your neural networks. MRI studies show that it strengthens connectivity in the left temporal cortex. It literally changes your brain's structure. 1 meditation. You're going to meditate for 10 minutes a day with no apps, no background music. You're just going to focus on breath or sound in the environment that you're in. Meditation thickens gray matter in the hippocampus. That's the part of your brain that's linked to emotional regulation and memory. And then 1 workout. Movement regulates mood through endorphins, the BDNF, which is the brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and improved insulin sensitivity. You're not just training muscles, you are training your focus. These four habits form the pillars of the good, the true, and the beautiful. They align mind, body, and soul into a single signal. Here's a daily system that you can incorporate. You're going to wake up early, you're going to hydrate, you're going to get a little bit of sunlight, and then you're going to go for a walk. In the midday, you're going to do deep work on the project that you listed above. In the afternoon is going to be your learning block. You're going to read or study. In the early evening, we're going to focus on being calm and we're going to do some reflection. And at night, no screen time 1 hour before sleep. I want you to write out on a piece of paper what moved me closer to my higher self today and answer it. That's it. It's not complex, it's deliberate. And when you start this, your ego is going to panic. It thrives on chaos because chaos keeps you predictable and it keeps the ego alive. You'll tell yourself, I can't disappear. People need me. But that's not truth. That's conditioning. The system wants you overstimulated, anxious, and easy to sell to. Billions of dollars are spent every year engineering your distractions. If you don't consciously create stillness, you'll unconsciously serve somebody else's agenda. In the age of information, ignorance is choice. Monk mode is that choice. It's the moment you decide, I will not outsource my attention anymore. And the resistance you feel, the fear of missing out, the fear of being forgotten, that's a withdrawal from your cultural conditioning. Within 2 weeks, the noise will start to fade. Within 4 weeks, you'll start to feel peace. Within 6 weeks, your output will double. And within 12, you will be unrecognizable. So let's redefine what monk mode really means. It's not cutting people off. It's cutting the static between you and your potential. It's not about hate for society. It's love for what you could become. It's not escapism. It's preparation. When you step back with intention, your mind stops reacting and starts perceiving. When you focus deeply, your energy starts compounding instead of scattering. When you live with precision, life stops feeling random and it starts to feel aligned. Because the opposite of chaos is not order, it is clarity. And clarity is what makes your actions feel inevitable. You stop asking, what should I do? You start knowing what to do. That's the essence of a spiritual awakening. When the fog of noise clears and you realize the path was inside of you all along. When the soul wishes to experience something, she throws an image of the experience before her and enters into her own image. Your goals are those images. Monk mode is how you enter them consciously. See, the human brain processes roughly 11 million bits of information per second, but the conscious mind can only handle about 50 bits. That means 99.9996% of what's happening around you is filtered out. You don't even see reality as it is. You see what your mind is trained to notice. So when you align your mind on one goal, your reticular activating system, a bundle of neurons in your brainstem, starts filtering the world differently. You begin to see opportunities that match your focus. It's not manifestation, it's selective perception. That's why precision is power. When your focus sharpens, your entire sensory system starts editing the universe on your behalf. You become a co author of reality, not a passive consumer of it. And the final phase of monk mode isn't staying hidden, it's returning. When you re emerge after 60 or 90 days, you'll notice something strange. The world hasn't changed, but you have. The noise that once owned you now feels distant. You can dip into it without drowning. You'll realize that the monk's gift isn't isolation, it's discernment, the ability to walk through chaos untouched. That's what every spiritual tradition has been trying to teach, to be in the world, but not of the world, to move through life as awareness, not reacting to everything, to act from clarity, not compulsion. You just need to guard your inputs and elevate your outputs. We're entering an era where technology will amplify both wisdom and stupidity. AI will handle tasks, automation will erase jobs, but it cannot automate clarity, taste, and presence. The future belongs to humans who can think deeply, create originally, and act calmly under chaos. Monk mode is training for that future. It's not old fashioned discipline, it's mental evolution. To change your personal reality, you have to change your personality. And personality is just a pattern of thoughts, feelings, and behaviors repeated until they become automatic. Monk mode breaks that old pattern. It creates a new default, one based on awareness, not autopilot. That's what the higher self really means. Not some mystical entity floating above you, but the version of you that acts with precision, purpose, and peace. Here's how you begin today. First, you're going to announce your intention, either privately to yourself or publicly. Here's an example. For the next 60 days, I'm focusing on one project, one book, one meditation, and one workout. All distractions are off. And number two, we're going to create your environment because your environment beats willpower. Clean your workspace, delete social apps from your phone, set clear zones, focus, recovery, and connection. Number three, you're going to build a scoreboard. Your progress must be visible to you. You can use a wall calendar or a notebook. Every day that you hit all four of your habits, mark a red X. This is a chain of evidence that you can visibly see. Number four, we're going to track your state, not just your outputs. Each night, you're going to rate your energy, your clarity, and your mood on a scale of 1 to 10. And within 3 weeks, you'll see the correlation that focus equals peace. And number five, you're going to re enter the world intentionally. At the end of your cycle, you're going to reevaluate. Which habits will you keep? What noise will you reintroduce? Precision is sustainable only if it's conscious. And the outcome? By week two, your dopamine baseline will stabilize. You stop needing constant novelty. By week three, your focus sessions will lengthen and your flow will return. By week four, your energy will double and your anxiety will fade. By week six, people will start noticing something different about you. They'll notice that you have this calm intensity. They can't quite put their finger on it. By week eight, you'll realize that simplicity is addictive. You'll start to crave peace the way you once craved distraction. That's when you know the shift is real, when silence feels full instead of empty. You don't need to escape the world to find yourself. You need to stop escaping yourself through the world. Monk mode isn't about closing doors, it's about reopening the ones that matter most. You'll lose followers, you'll lose friends, and even parts of yourself that were built on all noise. Good, because you'll gain something far rarer. You'll gain your own sovereignty, the ability to choose your own thoughts, the clarity to know your aim, and the power to move through life unbothered, unfocused, and alive. That's not isolation, that is mastery. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Monk mode is how you make it conscious. It's not a season of withdrawal, it's a season of calibration. Because the truth is, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the precision of your systems. And once you've built those systems, once you've tasted the stillness that comes from alignment, you'll never crave chaos again. So take the step, disappear for a while, not out of bitterness, but out of love for your own potential, not to escape the world, but to build something worth bringing back into the world. The future belongs to the clear, the peaceful, and the precise. And that starts now with one simple decision: close the tab, silence the noise, and begin. Thank you. I'll see you in the next episode.